Welcome to the Saturday Sports Line. Since 1969, the premier sports show about local high school sports, featuring coaches, players, and special guests. Now, here is your host of the Saturday Sports Line, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
And you can hear the crowd on their feet. The cheer block jumping up and down. The West Central Trojans are going to take the Tomahawk Trophy where they believe it belongs. The final score, 20-14, as the West Central Trojans are going to beat the Winamac Warriors here in Winamac on senior night. A huge win for the Trojans as they move to 6-1 on the season here in Week 7. The Warriors are going to move to 1-6. Huge win for the Trojans.
And a good morning to you here on the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana history. I am Mitch Columbi. Along with us is sports analyst Chris McGowan. Let's look at the scores for our area high school teams from last night. The Culver Cavaliers took on Caston. It was a home game, and they won that game 38-12. We'll have a chance to talk to Mike Zehner a little bit later. North Judson took on Triton last night, and let's just say they put up just about as much points as they did in Week 3, 62. They hung 62 on Triton. Triton scored 22 on them. A huge win for the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays as they stay undefeated, 7-0. And then the Knox Redskins, they took on Pioneer last night here in Knox at Community Field, 53-18. We talked last night, Pioneer's a historic football school. Heck, I've even heard of them from down south. So to have a win like that for Knox, that's big. And then we move on in and look at the South Central Satellites of Union Mills. A tough loss last night, 6-63. We'll have a chance to talk to Buzz Schoff a little bit later. And then we move into our game of the week. You just heard the final call. It was a close game there at the end, 20-14. We thought Winamac was going to come back, but the West Central Trojans held on. And on the line, we've got head coach of the West Central Trojans, Marc Call. Marc, good morning. I hope you got some sleep last night.
Good morning. Yeah, got some sleep. It was an exciting night, but yes, was able to get some sleep.
I would imagine you probably slept the best you've probably slept in a long time.
After games, yeah, it felt nice. It was just great for the kids to be able to get. It's been since 2012 since we've beaten them. It's been, I think, 13 games in between there with sectionals included. And these guys that on the team this year, they were either in first grade or younger the last time we had beaten these guys. So it's great for them to be able to experience this and have those emotions that come with this rivalry.
Well, you guys didn't make it easy on yourselves, that's for sure. Defensively, you put 2 scores on the board defensively with a fumble, a scoop and score, and then an interception return by Rodriguez there in the second half. But offensively, you did just enough. The second play of the game, I think it was, Aiden White goes 37 yards for a touchdown on a jet sweep, and that's all the offense really you had putting points on the board. But everything else came off the defensive side of the ball. Going into last night, what concerned you about the Winamac Warriors?
It's a rivalry game, so I was really concerned that our kids would be too concerned or look too much at records and not be prepared and not be ready for it. That was my main concern. But Winamac, rivalry games, records don't matter. Winamac is typically a really good team. They've got a lot of guys playing that didn't play very much last year based on all the seniors they had last year, but it's guys that they're used to winning, and there's something to say about guys that are used to winning, that they're going to come with everything they have because that's all they know how to do. So those were some of the big concerns, just on how physical they would be coming after us and wanting to keep that tomahawk on their side of the county. And then with 24 coming back, we knew he was going to be back and playing in this game for the first time in 3 weeks. So just trying to prepare him how different it will look from the last few games. to last night and just making sure our kids were prepared for that and ready for it.
Aiden White had a heck of a game, had a touchdown. The touchdown run, he had the 98-yard scoop and score, and he also had an interception. So, the trifecta there for Aiden White and Rodriguez. He ended up with 2 interceptions. One he returned for a pick 6. So, again, defensively, your guys getting it done there in the secondary. The question I have for you, and being down on the field and on the sidelines there last night, Winamac, under 2 minutes to go, they're driving for the go-ahead score or the tying score, because nothing's guaranteed with an extra point. But again, when that ball hits the turf and the fumble is loose, the excitement when you realize that Buzz Beiswinger came up with that fumble recovery, and just looking over to the sideline and seeing all your assistant coaches, the grown men, jumping up as high as the players on the sidelines. Take us through that moment and what you felt when you knew that you had it.
Well, it was getting closer at the end, and so it was a lot of emotions were going. There was a fumble a couple plays earlier that we almost had, and so then finally to get that one, it was just kind of it's finally it's happened. It's over, and we're going to get away with this one, and we finally got the win in it after the 10 years, and it's the drought's over.
All right, so last night, your kids are going to come off the emotional high, but goal number 2, the conference. So you have to take care of business next Friday night. You have Frontier coming into town. What do you know about Frontier?
Well, they have a new coach this year. They've changed up offensively what they're doing. They're running more spread stuff now. Whereas last year and the previous couple of years, they were of an I formation and try to just run it at you. This year, they're going to try to spread you out more, throw it a bit more, then try to get some runs in there when they can. And so our kids, they got to be prepared. And as you said, our next goal there was for conference things. And next 2 weeks, they're both going to be huge games because they're both conference games, and both those guys are right now. Frontier's sitting undefeated in conference like we are, and North White is with 1 loss. So a lot of things can still happen in these last couple of weeks. So our kids have got to get refocused and understand that it's great that we finally have beaten Winamac for the first time in 10 years, but we've got to regroup and get to the next stage. And one of the things we talked with them about last week going into the South Newton game was that was a big game because at that point South Newton and us were both undefeated in conference, and we were at the top of the lineup there. And so that was a big game going over there, but we also told them that if we take care of business on that Friday against South Newton, that every week is going to be bigger than the previous week. So it's that same type of message that it's great that we won on Friday, but we got this week. And hopefully, again, we just make this week bigger and the next week bigger and the weeks after that keep getting bigger as we go through this end of the regular season into the postseason.
Hey, Coach O, one thing I saw last night that I thought was really cool from an outside perspective, all of the offensive players have the playbook or the play call on their wrist, and you are calling out to them from what Chris was telling me down on the sidelines. You are calling out to them the set play, and I just find it so cool to watch. They all are just looking over at you, and then when you call it, they look at their wrist at the same time. It's a neat look, and I thought that was just a really cool moment. Talk about, from an outside perspective, what you are exactly telling your team. I know the lingo is kind of different for everyone in this football world that I've learned thus far, but what is it about that moment that you're hoping the kids take or listen to you for the play?
Well, when we do it, in the past we used to do signals to them, but this year we went to, when we did signals, it was the skill guys would see it, and then the quarterback would relay the message to the lineman. But this year we decided to go to just numbers. So they're listening to the numbers we're calling and then picking up on the one they're supposed to, and then we just run the play off that. So they hear the number that they're hearing, listening for, and then they look down at their band and see what it says to do, and then we try to run the play correctly.
So it's not necessarily a no huddle. You're just waiting to see how the defense lines up, and then the team is just waiting for you to call out the set numbers.
Yeah, basically, and there's quite a few teams that do that, and it's not like we do it at some points so we can go a little bit faster, but that's not always the reason is to go fast. But sometimes it is just to make sure we're getting the right play call. Because if we huddle, we make a play call, and then the defense lines up in a certain way that play's not going to work. It's a little bit more difficult to give the guys attention to switch a play, and then sometimes you just got to eat the play. So it is a lot of try to figure out maybe what the defense is lined up in and what plays we think will look good to it, and then call one of them, and hopefully things work out.
All right, so back to last night, Coach. Anybody else you want to mention that you, having gone back and watched the film, that you were surprised or pleasantly pleased with how they performed, that last night you really weren't focused on?
Well, as you mentioned, like the Aiden White had a great game with that fumble recovery, return for a touchdown. The second play of offense for us, where he took the sweep for us and scored. And then Zion Rodriguez, great game, had those 2 interceptions that were huge. The first one set up Aiden's touchdown in the first quarter. Then he scored our last one on that pick six. Our linebackers, our inside linebackers, Austin Bolin and Jacob Plarski, both had pretty decent games. It was over 10 tackles apiece, so they did a nice job of flowing and trying to get to the ball. Just overall, just defensively. We had some times there where we were giving up some yards, but they kept playing. And one of the things we've talked about this season is, we may give up some yards, but don't hang your head. Like, make them earn things and keep things in front of you, and just make people keep earning it. Don't hang your head and let huge plays happen. Like, just play the next down, and that's what we've been trying to preach to them. And last night that happened. Like, we kept playing, play the next down, and we were able to make some plays off of there. Like Aiden's fumble recovery that he ran back for a touchdown. That was one of those that they were making a drive, and we were able to just make one more play, and we ran it back. Then end of the game, just keep them in front of you. Just keep making them have to do one more play, and hopefully we can make something happen. And luckily we were. And so just overall defensively, they did a great job last night. I think we had a total of 5 takeaways, so that's huge.
Yeah, I think last night the ebbs and flows of that game, just the momentum shifts, and I'm talking drastic. Usually a team will build momentum, but last night it was just back and forth, 180 degrees. Yeah. Just tremendous. And for your kids to stay focused and to be able to pull out that victory speaks a lot for where you guys are, not only physically but mentally.
Oh, I appreciate that. I thought the kids, they did a great job with that. That punt return that Winamac had, that was huge. But luckily we were able to withstand that and make one more play.
Yeah, I think it's the first game. 5 touchdowns were scored last night. 2 of them were defensive, a fumble recovery and an interception. And the third touchdown, 3 of the 5 came on was a special teams, was a punt return. So the offensively, it was just a weird game, a weird night around of Bush Field.
Yeah, it was very odd, the scoring that took place there. But I think it was first quarter, both offensive scored, and then after that, no more offensive touchdowns. So it was an odd game, but again, luckily we just were able to make one more play there.
Exactly. And last question here, Coach. Ended like we do every week. How's the health of ball club?
We've got some guys that they got some bumps and bruises this morning, waking up a little bit sore. But we'll have to get those things mended as quickly as possible and go forward from there. And is to be expected after a hard-hitting game like we played last night.
Yeah, I would imagine both teams probably woke up this morning feeling it. That's for sure. Both teams played their hearts out last night, and congratulations on regaining the Tomahawk and taking it back to the west side of the county.
All right, thank you very much.
Hey, Coach, it was great to meet you last night. I appreciate your time, and we're going to finish up with your post-game interview here with Chris McGowan down on the field. I'll go ahead and play that, but I appreciate your time, Coach, and enjoy your week, and good luck next week as well.
All right, thank you. Have a good week as well.
Thank you.
And we're back here at Rowdebush Field as Coach Marc Hall, head coach of the West Central Trojans, gets a Gatorade bath, and another one's coming, Chris. Look out. Look out, Chris. Another one's coming.
Thanks for the heads up.
Anyway, boy, he's got the Tomahawk Trophy in hand. It's been the first time since 2012, and we are lucky enough to have head coach of the West Central Trojans down on the field with our sideline reporter, sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
Coach Hall, telling you, been a decade since you've possessed that Tomahawk Trophy? How's it feel?
It's been since 12, and it's been a long time, and it feels great right now. We told the kids all week, it's right there for us to go get. And it's our number one goal we set last October is to get the Tomahawk. I'm so happy for these boys. They get to experience it because it has been a long time.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winamac. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is dedicated to providing excellent health care to improve the health and quality of life for the people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible health care experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
Life is busy. At First Farmers Bank and Trust, we know that your time is valuable. That's why we offer mobile banking, online account opening, and mobile check deposit, so you can take care of your banking and get back to the people who matter most to you, while we take care of the people who matter most to us, our customers. Visit us online at ffbt.com to learn more. First Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Marlatt sets his man in motion. He hands off over to the right side. That's number 2, Aiden White, who's going to pick up the first down and more. He's got back to the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Trojans. As there are no flags on the play, they are going to draw first blood.
Yeah, just a jet sweep out of that flex bone offense there. Aiden White going the distance from 37 yards out.
Welcome back to the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios. Mitch Columbi in-house along with sports analyst Chris McGowan. We are talking about the Culver Cavaliers now as they won last night against Caston 38-12. And as a matter of fact, we've got head coach Mike Zehner on the line to talk about it. Mike, good morning. Thanks for taking your time.
Hey, good morning, Mitch.
All right, Coach.
How are you guys?
Yeah, not too bad.
We're doing good, man.
Doing good. I'm sure you're probably doing well. 2 wins in a row. Hey, you put that third one together next week, Coach. That's officially called a winning streak.
Yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
So, last night, homecoming, right? Is that correct there at Culver?
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Had homecoming, so had all the festivities going on all week, and
all the extracurriculars that you got to worry about as a head coach.
Yeah, and I always say I always enjoy homecoming. It's something that you build up, but we do it right at Culver. I feel like we do like a half day on Friday. We go outside, play some games, relay races, things like that. Watermelon eating contest, field goal kick. It's a good time. Get the kids out of class a little bit, get them excited, have a parade, and this year we named a homecoming king and queen, so had that stuff at halftime. And I told them, though, I know you probably did as a coach, hey, it doesn't matter, we do all this stuff and we don't get the job done on Friday, then we see it as a failure. And I thought first half
we gave them some opportunities and, kept it close and stuff. And felt like our kids came to play the second half a lot better than what we did the first, and maybe lost focus at times, and that's easy to do on a homecoming night. But, I got to give credit to Caston, though, too. They're a good young team. That Schaefer kid is a senior at quarterback, and he can throw the ball around, but they're pretty high on their young kids. They're 7th, 8th, and their freshman class, and I think rightfully so. So they Coach Ulrich does a nice job down there, and he really has those kids playing hard. And you can tell that they're well prepared, and that hasn't always been the case in the past couple of years. So got to give some credit to those guys as well. But big night for obviously Schumann again. He was over 250 rushing. I think he puts him over well over 1,000 on the season. He had 2 touchdowns. I think he had 2 touchdowns. I think the first play from scrimmage was his longest was 62 yards. And so big night for him. Kid that probably don't get much talk about is we got a sophomore, number 42, Ethan Binion. He had a receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and then a pick 6 on defense. So
wow,
as a sophomore playing strong side outside linebacker in our wing, he had himself a game, and he's played hard, and he's done a nice job for us this year.
Yeah, it sounds like I believe I saw over 350 yards on the ground last night for the Cavaliers. Sounds like the offensive line's getting it done for you.
Yeah. Coach Kling does a good job with those guys. But those guys, I feel like the last couple of weeks we put probably our best product out there. With center, really, he's done a nice job for us all season. Didn't get to have him at the Triton game. And Stephen Pugh. Then our right guard, Devin Burkett, man, he's been a force there. It's been fun to watch him on film. He's pancaking people, and Ben Lee at right tackle. And then our left side's really kind of been our new mix up here the last couple of weeks, and Braden Bolbash at left guard, and then left tackle is Travis Blankenship, and Coach Kling does an awesome job, second to none when it comes to offensive line, and really motivating those guys and teaching them technique. So really can't say enough good things about both Coach Kling and the offensive line, because I'm sure Schumann will be the first one to tell you he didn't get any of those yards without those guys.
Right, and let's talk about that dynamic with Binion now stepping up. The sophomore having a big night rushing the ball as well. That relationship between Schumann and Binion. Any razzing going on there about the number of carries Shane may be getting?
Oh, no doubt. We have fun with that. We have fun. It's all good fun.
Right.
We talked about that, this week, and Binion was, man, Schumann, if I got 44 carries, I'd have well over 200 yards too, and back and forth. But it's all good fun. That's what makes it fun about coaching these kids. They don't care who gets the success as long as we as a team get the success on the scoreboard and make sure we win the game. But they're going to block hard for each other. They're going to play hard for each other, and that's a fun part. That's what. That makes it fun to come to work every day, and after 3 o'clock, and get to spend time with these guys, and those are the good things. And the guys up front getting it done, they don't get the recognition, in the papers and things like that they deserve. But I think those guys behind them will tell you this. They'll be the first ones to say that they don't get a yard without those guys up front.
Exactly. That relationship, with probably Schumann and Binion being each other's biggest cheerleader and supporter, that's when it makes it really special. Just 2 great kids there. And last night, you get the shutout, right? Is that correct? Did I hear that score right?
No, they scored 12.
They scored 12, yeah. Okay. But defensively, who played well for you last night on the defensive side of the ball?
Hayden Parker, I think, led us in tackles based on our stat sheet. Hayden's a corner. They throw the ball around a little bit. We had a nice goal line stand in the first quarter, and penalties kind of plagued us a little bit. We had a 4th down that was an incomplete pass that they called a defensive holding on us. So, that gave them their first score. They scored on that drive, but we should have got off the field there. And then I think we had another penalty in the third quarter that ended up setting up their other score. But those are the things we got to clean up, and we can't do those against good football teams. But Hayden Parker, I think our secondary did a nice job. We started freshman at safety, and Jonas McCune, he had the pick last week. We also started, Brady Kindernay came in and played corner for us. Had a nice night as well, defending the pass because we knew they were going to throw him. Then the homecoming king himself, Ian Brown, he was all over the place. Hurricane Ian, I guess, but he, I think at one time I sent him off the edge. He came on a C-gap blitz and just leaped like basically two guys and was airborne and trying to get to the quarterback. So his effort is second to none. You're not going to get a kid that plays harder than Ian Brown. And I know we've talked about him this year, but he's a guy that serves in the military as well. He did his basic this past summer, and just a special kid. And for him to be a homecoming king, he's just a little icing on the top for him, and well-deserved.
All right, so last night's win moves you to 4-3 on the season. Life doesn't get too much easier. You have to go to the Pit down in Royal Center next Friday night, to take on the Pioneer Panthers. What have you seen on film from Pioneer?
They're still Pioneer. They're going to line up in the wing tee, whether it's under center or shotgun. They still got athletes. They still got guys that play hard. I think you're going to look at your record. They're going to look at last week's Knox game. Like, man, this isn't the Pioneer pass. But I think as well as anybody does that the culture that winning state titles and doing that. But I mean, you still see that on film. You still see those kids fly to the football and do everything technically sound. And HNAC's a good conference, and there's a reason that they've been the top of it for a long time. And you lose that in a year, right? These kids, they play hard, they're fast, they're athletic. It's not going to be an easy game by far. It's going to be a dogfight, and we're excited about it. I think we got to get the job done up front. They're going to be very well prepared. Coach Barry does an amazing job preparing for each and every week, and they're going to find our weaknesses and try to exploit them. And we got to make sure that we're ready to play 4 quarters of football, and we got to eliminate those penalties.
All right, Coach. Lastly, how's the health of the ball club coming out of last night?
Good. Yeah, I think we had anybody on the injury report, so that's been the nice thing so far. So keep knocking on wood and making sure we're taking care of ourselves. Obviously we're going to have some bumps and bruises with rushing for 350 yards, but no, I think the health of the team's probably been as best as it's been all season.
Well, that's good. We're talking to head coach Mike Zehner of the Culver Cavaliers, who come away with a 38-12 victory over the Caston Comets last night. And Coach, I want to thank you for your time this morning and wish you the best of luck at Pioneer next week.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks, Chris.
Yep.
All right, that was head coach Mike Zehner on the line talking about last night's win, as they did a very good job against Caston, 38-12. Well, we're going to take a break. We'll come right back and talk with head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays, Brett Lambert. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Holding on to precious memories, the way we used to be.
Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort.
Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family.
Here's more with area high school coaches as we return to the Saturday Sports Line from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios on K99.3.
Winamac needs a stop here. 2nd and 14. Ball on the 44-yard line. West Central. Marlatt takes the snap. He keeps it himself. He rolls out to the left side. He gets nowhere as he's tackled. Looks like that's number 82, Zane Bell, the senior on senior night, with a huge tackle.
Yeah, did a very good job of staying home there. Just a quarterback counter.
And welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line. As I am Mitch Columbi, along with sports analyst Chris McGowan, we're talking with head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays, Brett Lambert, coming off a big win against Triton, 62-22. That matches your high on the season against Calumet Christian, 62. So when are you going to crack 62 points, Coach?
Yeah, if we can, if we can be close to that the rest of the season, I'll be happy. But.
Well, you had a good game last night. Talk to us about some of the players that stood out, maybe some things you saw on the field that you prepared all week for. You know, we keep hearing things about Triton and their historic team and you know, a football program. But what did you prepare last night and you were happy seeing?
Well, I mean, just to go through the game, really. I mean, first of all, we deferred. We won the toss. We wanted to get our defense out there, and they went down the field and scored. They had a long touchdown run from Shu, and again, we've heard that name on the radio all year, just from other coaches talking. I mean, he's a very good running back for them. So they go up 7-0, and of course we haven't been scored on a lot this year. I mean, that's 7. I mean, our average was 5 points, giving up a game going in. So they get that early touchdown. Then we get the ball, we get past midfield, and they stuff us on a 4th down play. They get a few yards and punt it, and we get the ball at our 1. So here we are. We got the ball again. We're down 7-0. Ball's at our own 1 yard line. But then we went to work, and we went down, scored. And we other than a couple of hiccups at the end of the first half, we didn't punt, and we just scored on every possession the rest of the game, and just really played well. Offensively, that was our best performance all year, hands down. And just to go through a few stats here, I mean, Aldrich Harper passing, he was 4 of 6 passing, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had an interception at the end of the first half. I know he would want to have back, but again, that's only his second one of the year. He also had 4 carries for 48 yards and 3 touchdowns, so that's not too bad there. Really, between throwing and carrying the ball, that's 8 plays, and he had 5 touchdowns on those, so that's not too bad. Brock Benson, 24 carries, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cheyenne only had 8 carries, but he had 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a catch for 54 yards. Gabe Ellis came through with a couple big catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. Then Josiah McDaniel got one at the end, a reception for 16 yards and a touchdown. So just offensively, we really had it rolling. Again, I just really felt good about what we had, and it's just, we didn't have to go that deep into our offense. We were able to use kind of our bread and butter plays, kind of similar to the Knox game. We didn't have to get, too crazy and do like trick plays or anything. And again, we had that stuff. We practice that stuff every week, but we didn't have to do them. And, again, even after the game, us coaches were on the whiteboard in the coach's office, and okay, we see them in the sectionals. Here's something that we can do. Here's something that we can do. Like we're already talking about a sectional game against Triton because we know that's the team that we're probably gonna have to beat twice. And then offensively for Triton, they got a lot of yards. I mean, we had I think 470 on offense, but heck, they were pushing 400 themselves. Wow. And that was just, that's crazy, and that's not. That's not what our defense is all about. And our defense didn't play. I mean, Triton has some good guys. The Shoe kid, Shively, had a really good game at quarterback, especially at scrambling. He's an athletic kid. So if we do see him again, our defense is going to have to shore things up a little bit. Again, I'm not trying to say they played bad, but just that's too many yards. So we'll have some things fixed if there's a round 2 with them. Again, it was a good game. And just to go through a few defensive stats before we talk more about it, I mean, Josiah McDaniel was double-digit tackles again. He had an interception. C.J. Sanchez, 8 tackles, a sack, fumble recovery. Connor Benson, double-digit tackles, interception, fumble recovery. That's 3 games in a row that Connor's had an interception from his inside linebacker spot. Of course, he played free safety last year, so it's nice having him there in coverage.
Wow.
Quentin Frazier, 12 tackles. Logan Racky, 9 tackles, 2 sacks. Jackson Boyd had 5 tackles and a sack. I mean, we just had a lot of guys getting it done, and then that's not everybody, but again, just a great all-around team effort.
Well, it just reminds me, sorry, Chris, real quick. one thing that sticks out to me, especially in that Culver game, similar beginning where it was a tough time but it seems like this team's resilient in the sense of once they get hit, then they really turn on and open the lid, and then this is what happens. It just almost seems to me like something has to happen to wake them up to really be like, okay, yeah, we're here. Let's make things happen.
And these guys, they don't get flustered. Maybe I've had some teams in the past. I'm not trying to say I've had teams in the past that have been flustered all the time, but they might not have responded as well as what this year's group. They just have a little different feel about them in practice, and it's just I've probably said it every week. It's a cool thing to be a part of. But yeah, they're not okay. They were down 7-0. We got stuffed on the 4th down. Some teams would panic, and we just went back to work and, like I said, went 99 yards for a touchdown. And that's how, in offense at practice, when we do team offense, we start every drive in practice from the 1-yard line. We work on that scenario. That's just, trying to have, game situations. Right. And again, that's just, it's not unnerving to us. It's just part of the game. We're ready for it.
Yeah, I think a lot of that may come from the bad taste that was kind of left in their mouths last year to be so close, to make it to the semi-state and to come up short, just to focus. But the resiliency, like you said, give up the big play to Shoe, 70 yards on a speed option play there, and then you come back, you get stuffed on 4th down. But the defense, again, the old adage, they bent but they didn't break. Force the punt, get the ball over on the 1, completed you flood the zone, you roll Aldrich out, you flood the zone, you hit your best player in space, Cheyenne Allen, and he goes 54 yards up the sideline, and that kind of just switched the momentum right there. You could watching it last night. You could feel the momentum switch at that point.
Oh yeah, that was huge, and that. Our guys were like, "Oh, okay, we can, got this. We're fine." And even to start that drive, that 99-yard drive, it was Brock Benson
right,
3 carries for like 24 yards. Then we hit Cheyenne. Then it was just everything. And Aldrich on the option, like I said, he only had 4 carries. But he had 3 touchdowns.
Right.
And he just, he kept the ball. And so we didn't even have to he's the second option on that. We didn't have to get to the 3rd option around the corner. And again, just something that just another layer to the option. I'll just say that without getting too specific because I don't want to. But just something that we put in last week against CMA. We thought it would work, and it did against them, and it was probably even better against Triton. But again, we know there's going to be, I would suspect there's going to be a second game against Triton, and they're going to make adjustments. So, when there is a round 2, or if there's a round 2, we'll be ready for it. That's for sure.
All right, Coach, you're still in control of your own destiny in the conference. Got a game next week against LaVille, who's also 7-0, looking to avenge a close loss last year at Liberty Field. What do you know about the Lancers?
I think there's a lot of mutual respect because So over the summer, I was fortunate enough to coach in the North-South All-Star Game, and Will Hostrauser, who's LaVille's head coach, was also on that staff. So, for 4 days we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. Just, a lot of conversations, and just, we'd already known each other and had, I think, a little bit of a friendship. I think it's really it grew after that. So yeah, we get along very well. And we were even yesterday. I was at the school pep rally for our homecoming, and I'm texting Hostrauser, I don't know if there's gonna be a lot of text this week though, but no, I have a lot of respect. He does a great job with the defense over there. Their offense has really come around this year. They had last year they had no seniors, or maybe I think they had 1 senior last year, so they have a very senior heavy team right now. Our senior class and their senior class have been battling since middle school, and it's been back and forth. They've always been close games. I can remember being, I think I was an assistant under Ted White at the time, but I remember being in the end zone when these seniors right now were 8th graders, and we lost to LaVille in that game, that middle school game, by I think it was 6 points. But I can still remember a play they called dead where Aldrich Harper pulled it on triple option. He's down the sideline with the ball with nobody around him, and they blew the ball dead because they thought the fullback had it. So I mean that's just how this rivalry has been. It goes back to middle school. But again, this is going to be a fun game. The winner is definitely going to have at least a share of the conference championship. And the ultimate thing though from this is we're going in to win the game, but win or lose, whoever, again, it doesn't matter if you are the victor or not in this game, you're going to be better off because of this game. And that's what is just so awesome about seeing them here in week 8, because LaVille,
perfect timing.
LaVille is a regional semi-state caliber football team, and we're going to get that, and we love it. And again, if we win, awesome. We'll get the victory. We'll be excited. Plus, we'll learn some things from the game. If we lose, we're going to learn some things. So, yeah, this game's coming at a good time, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But I think Chris alluded to. I mean, last year we beat them in overtime by 1. 2 years ago, we beat them on a field goal with less than a minute to go. We kicked a field goal to win it. 3 years ago, it was 0-0 after 3 quarters, and then they ended up getting 17 in the fourth quarter. So the score looks like 17-0, which it was, but it was, like I said, in the fourth quarter, it was 0-0. The year before that, I was assistant under Ted White. We went over there in sectionals and had a great win against them in the first round when we were the underdogs. We lost to them during the regular season. So I guess what I'm saying, there's a little bit of a rivalry. I don't not tradition maybe, but just there's a little bit of a rivalry going here.
Oh, I can still remember back in 92 when we were predicted to make it down to state, and they come in opening round of sectional and laid it to us.
Yep. I think it was 91.
91, yeah.
In 91,
91.
We were 8-0, and they had a good team, but yeah, it wasn't supposed to quite happen.
It wasn't supposed to happen that way, but that one still leaves a sour taste in my mouth, but we'll put that behind us. Again, just
finally.
I wish I could clone myself and be there next Friday, but my understanding is Channel 46 going to broadcast the game. Is that
so
correct?
Channel 46 is going to cover the game, which, I mean, that's a cool thing. They did our Knox game last year, which was, a good experience. And, it's just going to be, I'm sure, a great atmosphere. And just when I looked at the weather forecast the other day, of course, I can change here. It's like 53 for a high, so we're talking football weather. So, you got to love that. The atmosphere is going to be great, but, it's on Channel 46, but let's not just stay home, fans. Let's get there. Let's fill the stands. I mean, the kids feed off of that. When they make a big play, if they hear that, the crowd erupt, I mean, that can make a difference. So, you can eat in Plymouth, have dinner there, and then go to the game and, get ice cream afterwards, whatever. Yeah. But let's get to the game and pack it in.
You got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell, it sounds like.
We'll take a little cowbell, that's for sure.
Okay, I'd be I'm going to take the opportunity here at this moment to change gears just a little bit and talk about the passing of the athletic director, longtime athletic director Dave Vesely there at North Judson. Somebody that to that family, my condolences and my thoughts and prayers are with them. Mike was my best friend growing up. Mama Vesely and Dave were like second parents to me. You want to give any thoughts on that?
I mean, you did a good job just talking there, but like last night before the national anthem, we did a moment of silence, and then the Nathan Radtke does like the play-by-plays, like whatever. So he had a little speech about him. But yeah, Dave, when I came in, so when I was in school, he was the athletic director. And then when I came in as an assistant coach, and teacher in 2008, he was athletic director still. And Dave, he's a man of few words, that's for sure. But he cared about the programs and took care of you. And what I learned right away, because I was the head track coach right away, in that first year. And the first time I went in to ask him for something, I was kind of wishy-washy and like almost intimidated. And he's kind of like, well, what do you need it for? And I didn't have a good answer. So he was like, I don't know if we got the money right now. So then I thought, oh crap.
Right.
So the next time I needed something, I had everything written on paper. I had the speech ready. I told him, where it's at, how much it costs. I told him, I did a bunch of price comparisons. Oh yeah, we're good. Go ahead and get it. He just wanted you to be prepared, to be confident, and that taught me something right there. But no, he was a Blue Jay, as a grad and as a teacher, athletic director, and it's sad to see those things go. Guys like that go that have been part of the program. Think of somebody like Bill Ridley a couple years ago passed away, and it's just somebody who I was around when I was in school. It's a sad thing, but again, he not like he lived a bad life, so he had a good life and a good legacy.
Yeah, a funny story with me was one year the regional boys basketball in North Judson's always hosted that, and like the day before the regional was supposed to happen, the guy that's supposed to do the PA had to cancel, so he calls me down to his office and says, hey, you work the radio, you're not afraid to talk in front of people. I need somebody to do the PA. I said, yeah, I'll do it. About 5 minutes after me doing the PA, walks up to him and he goes, hey, McGowan, I think I finally found something you're good at. So just a memory there that I'll share with everybody. But again, Coach Lambert, thanks for your time and good luck next week.
Hey, thank you, guys.
All right, that's head coach Brett Lambert of the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays. We appreciate his time as we are going to take a break. But don't go anywhere. We've got head coach of the Knox Redskins in-house. That's right, Russ Radtke. He's going to talk about that big win over Pioneer last night, 53-18. Don't go anywhere. This is the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. This is the Saturday Sports Line.
It ain't all it seems. Yeah, the way we used to be, even.
Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family. Coke knows there's nothing better than the beat of the summer. The beat begins in a simple and mellow place, from low-key to hyped up. So we're helping you and your friends drink it all in with 100 days of the artist's experiences, tracks, and concerts with the best names in music, all at Coke Studio. Drink, scan, and enjoy your Coke so you never miss out on all the amazing offers we're dropping this summer.
Join us each Saturday morning on WKVI for the Saturday Sports Line and worldwide on WKVI.com.
Looks like the Warriors are going to stay with that Wildcat offense as Cash Roth is in the slot out to the right. Jaden Jones takes the snap. Oh, and he's going to fumble it on the play. And the West Central Trojans are going to pick it up. Huge play for the Trojans as they are very excited. And you can see the West Central Trojan faithful on their feet, very excited as the battle for Pulaski County looks like it's going to end with the Tomahawk Trophy heading to West Central, but there's still 1:18 to go. We don't know yet.
Right. Winamac has 2 timeouts. They can stop the clock twice. Tell you what, you hate to see either one of these teams lose this football game. These kids are going to be feeling this tomorrow.
I know.
Just a physical football game on both sides.
That was our play of the game last night between West Central and Winamac. Chris was trying to hurry me up there, man. We're trying to do the plays, man.
I know. I want to get Coach Radtke in here.
We're going to get a chance to talk to him.
Yeah, Knox gets their first win ever against Pioneer, so I want to give Coach Radtke some time.
Well, the excitement was there, and the boys played a very physical football game. Got out right off the bat and controlled the line of scrimmages and came up with schemes that worked quite well. So having Pioneer with their tremendous – because even when we won this state, I think when I was at Griffith in '97, I think they won the state the same year. So they've been playing good football on there for a long time. And for Knox to start getting where we want to be is definitely a big victory.
Yeah, again, Nathan Welter last night was sending us updates of the score, and it's like 40-0 right before halftime, and I'm thinking, oh my God, wow, Knox is starting to put things together. And I tell you what, to limit Pioneer, I know that's not the Pioneer past, but they're still good. They're still athletes all over the place. It sounds to me like defensively you guys are starting to figure some things out.
Well, we're trying to work with speed and aggressiveness, and you played a couple of those games where we lost. We could very easily be 6-1 right now.
Right.
But it's very important that they all keep identifying what they have to do, like we asked earlier in the year, so that 11 guys are all working together. You know, as coaching defense, if one or two guys try to do something on their own, next thing you know, all heck breaks loose, and the other team can execute. And anytime a play is done on defense, it's just a fraction of an inch where a ball player could get through. And if you can all be assigning, okay, I'm doing my job, I might get an assist because of what I've done to create the opportunity for someone else.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. All 11 guys have to know and just do your job. And I always talked about looking at small windows, looking at everything in a small window and just doing what you're supposed to do and not really worrying about what's going on around you. You got to do your job and do it well. And if the other guy screws up, he's the one that's going to get yelled at.
Well, especially on the football. If you ever been out on a football field, you wonder how in the world can't they score every play, because that thing is like 45 yards wide.
Yeah.
And the distance after the ball's snapped only takes about 5 or 6 seconds, but that a play actually occurs.
Right.
So that explosion that has to take place at that time is something that a lot of fans or community people don't really realize what's out there on the field. They're just watching the excitement of what's taking place. And I think, like you're saying, the offense, and then our defense falls on the shoulders of our offense.
Right.
If our offense could click and knock things around, then they can be a little bit more tactical and maybe do their blitzes or come up with their schemes of our coordinator. If you're nickel and diming us and it takes forever, then our defense doesn't have that aggressiveness. So last night we came up with, I think, a couple big interceptions. One was returned for a touchdown. Another one we picked off down near the goal line on a 4th down. I believe they were in a red zone, 4th down, and we were able to step in and pick up an interception. So those are things that the defense can react on and really have to take something away that the offense might be doing.
All right, you put 53 points on the board. Who offensively played well for you last night?
Well, I think it's the line on how to come across. All coaches want to look upon that, but the running backs, Watson is really going as our quarterback, calling more and more audibles all the time, and coming up with a scheme that can work to his advantage. Not only just for him to carry the ball, but he was able to put the ball up in the air last night too. And he's being able to execute downs and distances where he can fit into a pass completion that may get us out of a third. You can't wait the third long all the time thinking you're going to throw. All right, you got to keep that defense not knowing when and how it's going to attack, and then it gives our offense a little bit more flavor there. All the backs had close to 100 yards rushing, and the component of those guys being able to do their job definitely is an exciting thing. And there's even guys that are coming in off the bench that are in our certain formations. We run a lot of players in our offense and defense, and their ability to control that line of scrimmage is kind of hard to do when you've been on the sidelines for 4 or 5 plays in a row. All of a sudden, I'm on the field.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not the guy on the backside of the play. I'm the play side. And then listen to the guys that have been out there that are sweating and been working hard. How do I fit into it right now? And I think that's the biggest thing that's coming on.
Yeah, it sounds like Cohen Watson's actually becoming a triple threat for you, not only with his legs and his arm, but his mind, being able to understand and have total command of that offense and understand what you guys want to do offensively to be able to get to the line of scrimmage and make those audible calls.
Well, like I said, I would not want to be the quarterback in this because of all the pressure and I imagine his mother cringes every time things happen over these last couple of years. But it's fun to see it happen now and how he can able to and he doesn't do it all by himself. the coaches give him a couple plays to run when he gets out on the field. Now he's got to pick out which one's going to be right, and then the running backs all got to find out exactly how to find the right connection. So when they feel that flavor and they can get it together, it's quite exciting.
Well, you moved to 4-3 on the year. You're above 500. I look at the schedule. Each loss you've had this season, you respond big time with a win the following week. It looks like this team, when they're smacked in the mouth, they come back hard the next week. That's something as a coach I'm sure you're happy to see.
Well, I would say that, again, we only played one opponent in our tournament run, John Glenn. So we have to take every opponent with the fact that they're bringing in a new idea of offense and defense, so how can we adjust to it on the run? And I think our kids are finding that. And every year we've been here, they start maturating about this time of the year and really feeling it, how they're going to get it done. I think the draw's next Sunday, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, next Sunday's a draw. We're already going to know where we're at and where the tournament run is for everybody. So this is one of the things that we've been building to that level, that we appreciate this conference and how competitive they are and how hard they work us. Because even last year, we went over to Pioneer, thought we had things right, but it didn't. We got beat. But by gosh, it sure did put us into that sectional championship game that we had a shot at last year.
All right, Coach. Next week, you get to travel to Bourbon, one of my least favorite places to play when I was in the Northern, or to coach at or to go to when I was in the Northern State Conference. It's right up there with New Prairie, but we won't get into that. Again, what do you know about the Trojans?
Absolutely nothing at this time other than the fact that they have a tremendous running game and there are a couple running backs that run hard. Formation-wise and so forth, they're going to come at you and play great defense. We just got to take this as a situation again that's going to get us one more level better. The thing is, our tournament run is all up in there. We got a team that's almost in Ohio or Michigan.
Right.
So we're heading that direction to play that style of football with those kind of people. It's good for us to get out there and have that, and Bourbon's going to give us a good challenge. It's going to be a great game opportunity-wise for both teams to try to get themselves ready for that next chance. And this is our last away game until we find out what it is on a tournament run. So we're looking forward to that opportunity, and that's why they're having a great practice out there this morning, and everything's working quite well right now.
Yeah, that's the great thing about this conference. Week in and week out, you're going to see something different, and it's going to be something that's going to prepare you for the postseason.
And especially because we have teams that it seems like no matter how much we work on what they're going to play defensively, they don't do it.
They don't do it.
Almost like you wanted in that handshake at the beginning, Coach. Would you please do this defense for me?
Yeah. What you've been showing on film all season.
Right. And so they come out with something completely different. So this is going to show us something again that we have to do. And last night again, a Pioneer came out with a defense adjustment that we weren't ready for as a continuous practice cycle. And then maybe that's what makes our kids a little bit more hungry, realizing that all week long we throw every possibility there is of a defense to come at you,
right?
And can you adjust to it on the run? And again, there's parents listening and everybody in the community and that, and we appreciate them being here last night, but they really don't understand how to make that work. We still haven't had we almost had one last night. We almost had a perfect play. I saw it this morning about 2 a.m., but we got tackled at the 1 yard line. So to make it a perfect play, he has to make it in the end zone. So we had 99.9% right, and we're still looking for those things. But, it's the little things that are important, and it's fun, and we're getting a lot out of a lot of kids, and, we got 48 kids out there that are playing great football right now, and we really appreciate all their efforts and the parents.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you talked about a few weeks ago how, Stark County football as a whole, just the teams in this county as a whole is a monster itself. If you're Triton, you've got to play North Judson, and then you got to turn around and play Knox. I don't know who set that up, but if I'm Triton, man, I would not want to have to travel to Stark County and then have to come back home and play another Stark County team again.
Well, especially if they're both producing as we are right now. And I tell you, both schools are building on each other.
Yes.
The respect from what we've done And even though we got a thumping over there because we didn't move our offense, well, we've adjusted our offense a lot since then because you taught us something.
And Coach Lambert pointed that out.
And I would say defensively, we did a very good job. They just had a running backs that were able to power it in and get the bait. But hey, it's all something that's. We used to do it in recess. When I was a little kid, I remember first hour we used to get 3 recesses. And by the time we used to get to the third one, there's a lot of bloody noses and torn pants and jerseys and so forth, and making sure that the nurse said you could go back out for the third recess. We would talk about it in a lunch. The tag or baseball or whatever we're going to do, and then you had to stick your sauerkraut in the milk carton to make sure the teacher let you go out because we used to get every meal there was. It wasn't the greatest thing in the world. Nutritionally, it probably was, but it surely wasn't something that just think about it. We used to get lima beans, sauerkraut.
That's terrible.
Spinach.
Yeah.
But we had to eat it, or else we found a way to get it in the milk carton before the teacher caught us. But these are what we're saying. Little things you do as you come along are all things that make you a little bit better. I can remember up at when we were at New Prairie, we tried to do everything but its schedule. But New Prairie has to play Penn this week in the 8th game, right?
Right.
And in the 9th game, you got to play Elkhart. You got to play 2 6A schools that have nearly 3,000 to 4,000 kids in there. That's not good.
Before the postseason.
Right. But it makes you better in all reality. But you'd like to have something in there that you can work around. And right now, I'm just glad that this conference is the one that we're in and how competitive you make us work all week long. And it doesn't matter right now because even like Winamac, hey, they've only won 1. And they're fighting themselves. They're right in that game, like you said last night, a power game between West Central and them. That's just where you want to be. And if you could carry that on over and keep working with your lower levels and everything, like you bring everybody along, it's going to be exciting. And, it's going to be something that this year's football in this area is going to really look in 1, 2, and 3A, I think, pretty good.
Well, we appreciate your time, Coach, as always. Thank you so much for giving us that opportunity to talk to you this morning, and good luck next week against Triton.
Yep, it'll be fun. It's over there at 6:30. We got a Bremen game on Monday, a JV game over at Bremen. So we're always trying to pick up games and find an opportunity so the lower levels have an opportunity to continue to schedule and to play their victory. So it's going to be an away game. If you get the wrong turn and you don't end up at LaVille, just keep going east and you'll end up in Bourbon. So, we're going to Bourbon and they're going to La Paz, I think is a little town they have there. So we'll see which ones. Stark County's going out to a couple different places to show what's happening.
Taking both the show on the road.
Both teams, I think, are blue. So we'll find out what's going to happen.
Well, good luck next week, and we appreciate your time.
All right, take care.
That's head coach of the Knox Redskins, Russ Radtke, of course. He's getting ready for a big game next week against Triton. We sure do appreciate his time. Until next week, we're going to go to the top of the hour and get ready for our Athlete of the Week interview. I had a chance to sit down with quarterback of the West Central Trojans, Connor Marlatt. That's at the top of the hour. Coming up next, you're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKBI.
Holding on to precious memories, the way we used to be.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios, quality care closer to home. You're listening to WKVI FM 99.3. Knox, North Judson, Winamac, playing the best of Vinyl Gold, a service of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting.
Fox News, I'm Rich Dennison. Hurricane Ian made landfall in South Carolina this afternoon with severe flooding and storm surge. It's now a post-tropical cyclone, but continues dumping heavy rain. Fox's Molly Lyon is in Charleston.
They're expecting up to a foot, possibly, of rain. That combined with the flash flooding possibilities, it's really a big area of concern.
National Weather Service Director Ken Graham says those without power need to be concerned about carbon monoxide poisoning from generators.
Don't keep them in the house. Don't put a generator in the house. Don't put it by an open window. Don't put it in your garage. It's got to be well away from your house. It's just a dangerous situation.
Rescue efforts continue in both Florida and South Carolina. President Biden signs a short-term spending bill given final approval in the House today. It funds the federal government through mid-December and provides another infusion of military and economic aid to Ukraine. America's listening to Fox News.
Doug. Chances are you're jamming in your car right now. And since Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance so you only pay for what you need, Limu and I are going to show you some safe car dance moves. Hit it. Everybody, check your blind spots real quick. Now hands on the wheel. Put them 10 in 2 and move your head like a bird do. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
From the K99.3 Weather Center, here's your forecast. Mostly sunny today, 69 will be your high. Tonight, clear and 47. Sunday, sunny and 68. Sunday night, clear and 39. And Monday, sunny and 65. That's your weather forecast from the station that brings you Vinyl Gold, the best music of the 60s and 70s, WKVI.
It's time now for Hour 2 of the Saturday Sports Line with your host, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line for Hour 2. So glad to be here. I'm Mitch Columbi. We're talking about our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week for last week. It was, of course, West Central Trojan Connor Marlatt. Heading into last night's matchup, the Trojans were 5-1 on the season. Against North Newton, Connor had 6 carries for 85 yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. He had a passing touchdown and a 2-point rushing conversion as well. Connor is the son of Jennifer and Scott Marlatt and is also a member of the basketball team at West Central. As the quarterback and defensive back for the Trojans, Connor has shown his athletic ability for the first 6 weeks of the football season in style. Here's my sit-down interview with West Central quarterback, junior, Connor Marlatt. What is it about football that you really enjoy and why you got involved, I'm guessing, at a young age?
Yeah, well, I've been playing since I was a little kid, around 5 to 6 years old. Both my older brothers, they've been playing. I've been watching football my whole life, really. My oldest brother's around 10 years older than me. He was playing since he was 6, so I've been watching football ever since I was born, really. And I love being able to play with other kids, and I just like football.
Well, tell me a little bit about this West Central Trojan team. You've done very well thus far, only losing 1 game. Tell us a little bit about how excited you are for this season and what you're looking forward to here. It's already 3 weeks to go till the end of the year, so what are your thoughts here going into the end of the season?
I think the really reason we've been doing good this year is our blocking. Our line came out good this year. Our wingbacks they're always doing what they're supposed to do. We break a play outside. Our receivers are always on their blocks. It's just we're ready. We're playing our rivals this week, and we're all fired up and ready to go to put a whooping on them. So we're ready.
Absolutely. So is there anyone on the team that you can look on the field that you know you can count on? Is there anyone in particular you really rely on that is a good teammate?
In the line position, and his name's Buzz Beiswinger. He's number 70 for us. He's always there. He's always putting in his work. He's always trying to help somebody in the weight room, on the field. He's a good player. And on the skill position, Aiden White, I've been playing with him since middle school, and he's reliable. He's a hard runner, always blocks good, always catches my passes that I throw to him. I like those 2 players a lot.
What is your parents' names?
My mom is Jennifer Marlatt, and my dad is Scott Marlatt.
And did they go to West Central as well?
Yes, they both did.
So this is a family affair. Did anyone in your family play sports before you?
Oldest brother, he graduated in 2012. He played football and ran track. And then I had an older brother graduate in 2020, and he also played football and basketball.
So you've got homecoming coming up this week. Tell me about what you're excited with homecoming. It'll be a home game. Of course, you're a junior, so you've got 2 more of these to go. You're probably looking forward to homecoming this year.
Yeah, I mean, Frontier, they're a good ball team. They're undefeated in conference right now. We're sitting at first, but they're 2-0. Frontier, we played them in a scrimmage at the beginning of the year, and their defense was pretty good against us, but we've gotten a whole lot better since the start. So I think we beat them last year, and I know they'll be ready to go, but we're going to keep our win streak going right now.
Absolutely. And how the fans been? Has the cheer block been behind you, supporting you along the season?
Yeah, they've been great. We've had many kids out there. A lot of middle schoolers even came out and showed up for us. And after the games, we had a bunch of support walking off the field. They're all sitting there waiting for us. It's a great feeling. I remember walking off the field, the first win of the season. I was just thinking, take it slow, soak it all in, because once you graduate, you don't get this feeling.
Well, congratulations, Connor. I appreciate your time today, and good luck the rest of the season. Is there anyone you'd like to say hello to this morning?
I just want to say hello to my mom and dad. I know they'll be listening this Saturday, so hi, guys.
Always nice to give a big shout-out to the family, as Connor was very proud to give that shout-out to his mom and dad. That was our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, West Central Trojan, Connor Marlatt. I so appreciate his time, as well as Athletic Director Jeff Messer for helping me set this up this past week. We're going to take a break and come right back. Don't go anywhere. Head coach of the Winamac Warriors, Josh Burgess, is here to talk about last night's game. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
At First Farmers Bank and Trust, we've been serving family farms for over 130 years. We've seen our customers succeed in good times, pull through in tough times, and we've learned some lessons along the way. So we appreciate the customers we have today by finding the solutions they'll be looking for tomorrow. Are you ready to talk about your farm operation? Stop by a branch or visit us online at ffbt.com. First Farmers Bank and Trust, Equal Opportunity Lender, member FDIC.
Welcome to Marian University's newest location, Ancilla College of Marian University. Marian's newest campus location in Plymouth is your home for an on-campus college experience. From living in the dorms to being a collegiate student-athlete, Marian University is ranked 3rd most innovative Midwest university by U.S. News & World Report. For more information about our 2- or 4-year degrees, go to www.marian.edu/Ancilla. That's www.marian.edu/Ancilla.
Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort. Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
The Trojans are set to punt this one away. The snap, the hold, the kick is up and away. It was almost blocked, but it does get away, and it'll roll over to the Winamac side as number 5. That is Michael Lambert picking up the ball. He cuts back over to the left side. Now he crosses the 50-yard line to the 45-40, 35-30, 25-20, 15-10-5. It's going to be a big-time touchdown for the Winamac Warriors. Huge run by Michael Lambert, and the Warriors are back in the game, 13-20 here at Roudabush Field.
Just like that, exactly what you didn't want to have happen. You don't want to have to punt from deep in your own territory.
Big-time punt return for Michael Lambert and the Winamac Warriors last night, but an unfortunate loss. Had a lot of good plays, really, from last night on both sides of the ball, but we've got head coach Josh Burgess in the house to talk about last night's game against West Central, as it was a tight one, came down to the wire, 14-20. Josh, talk about last night, some of the things you were happy about and some of the things you want to improve on.
Happy with our effort. Our kids are playing hard and continue to play hard. I thought defensively, we've made some strides defensively, especially from the first game. You guys saw us and kind of the struggles we had, so we're getting better there. I think we settled in pretty well defensively after their first drive. And offensively, too, we moved the ball well in the run game. I thought up front, we played a little bit better and got some guys involved and had some nice things going there. But just the turnovers, we talked about it last week, to turn the ball over 5 times again, give West Central a lot of credit. Coach Hall and his staff, their kids played hard and they were prepared and they capitalized on our mistakes, which is what good teams do. So, we're still seeing good things, but it's just the consistency that you continue to talk about every week. We've got to consistently get some of those things cleaned up. Penalties didn't help us either. Last night we had some tough penalties in an opportune time. So,
very tough.
We're making strides, but it's still frustrating. We've got to be able to get some of that stuff cleaned up in order to get the results that we want.
Yeah, you look at last night's game, and you guys are driving between the 30s. You guys, the West Central didn't have an answer for you between the 30s. You guys were just your own worst enemy. The second touchdown West Central scores, Michael Lambert's fighting to get the ball into the end zone, and West Central just strips it. The ball hits the ground, and it just bounces right up to Aiden White, who goes 98 yards. That's a 14-point swing. But again, your kids ended up battling back. They're down 2 scores late in the fourth quarter. You forced West Central to punt deep from their own territory, and Lambert makes up for the fumble with the punt return.
It was a fast one.
And at that point, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, this could get interesting. And then defensively, you force a 3-and-out. And you get the ball back, and I'm like, oh, my God, they're actually, even after turning the ball over 5 times, they're going to get this done.
And they also stopped West Central at the start of the second half.
Right.
They stopped them as well because they got the ball to start the second half, which that was a huge stop. We talked about that on the air, too. So there were so many moments last night where you guys had just right there. You're just right there. It was it's frustrating. I know it's just frustrating.
And, kids are working hard, and we're getting good effort out of the kids. We just got to clean some of those things up. You talk about Mike. Mike's playing really well for us on both sides of the ball, and we're never going to fault the kid for the effort. He's fighting for extra yards.
He's fighting for it.
We talked about it off air just a second ago. Just the way the ball's bounced this year a couple of times. To give up a 98-yard fumble return for a touchdown. We've given up a 99-yard interception return. You go years sometimes and don't see those plays in football, and we're seeing them week by week. So just the way the ball's bouncing, it's been unfortunate. But again, we're seeing good things out of our kids. And I think our kids are progressing. We just need to clean a couple of those things up to get the results, win-loss wise, that we want.
Exactly. When you talk about consistency, and the only way you get that consistency is by experience. And the more you guys play, the more you practice, that consistency will come. You just, as a coach, you want to see it sooner rather than later. But again, the effort of both squads last night, the effort of your kids to actually overcome 5 turnovers and to put yourself in a position with under 2 minutes to go to be within striking distance to win that game speaks volumes.
Yeah, after that, an interception over a touchdown gets it to 20-7. Our kids could have put their heads down.
Exactly.
And said, here we go again. But to their credit, they didn't. We fought back. Mike made a good play on the punt return. Got some good blocks. Picked up some good things there. On that punt return, we're screaming up the sidelines. And as he starts to cut back, no. And it turned to yes. Pretty quick when he got in the clear. So good play by him. And again, just we're doing some good things and we're making progress. We just got to continue to clean some of the things up that we can control, and we'll keep working at that.
How you guys health-wise right now after last night? There were several players banged up on both sides of the field that we were just seeing them as cramps on our end. Is that, in fact, what they just were from your standpoint on the Winamac sideline?
Yeah, I think generally speaking we're in pretty good health. I know I talked to Mitch pregame. We lost Gavin Taylor at the Culver game with a torn MCL. And Gavin, one of our seniors, great kid, high-effort kid for us. But last night I think we got through with everybody okay. Just the typical bumps and bruises you're going to have here at the end of the season. So I think we're in pretty good shape health-wise, besides Gavin.
All right, so last night you come up on the short end of that 20-14 score, but you got to put that one behind you and learn from it. As a coach, I've always thought that you can learn more from a loss than you can a win. So going forward now, you have to travel to Caston, a very young Caston Comet team. What do you know about the Comets?
Not a whole. I watched a little bit of film last night once it got uploaded. I know they've got a senior quarterback that's kind of their leader offensively, and I know just from talking around and hearing some different things, they move the ball pretty well. Kind of similar to us from the 30 to 30, and then they seem to have some things that happen turnover-wise or mistake-wise that kind of shuts off drives. I know Coach Ulrich, he's second go-around there. His teams always play hard. He's always got his kids well prepared. Numbers-wise, they might not have as many as everybody else. I know they've got some young kids in key spots too, but I know they're looking at this game as a chance for them to get a win, just like we are. Both teams are looking for a little bit of momentum going into the tournament. So we're going to have to be well prepared on both sides of the ball, really all three phases of the game with special teams too, in order for us to go on the road and get it done.
It was good to see Zane Bell out there last night. I know he was had some injuries early on in the year. He had that big tackle we played a little bit earlier from the clip, but it was just good to see him out there on the field on senior night, and he had that big tackle and had big plays. And for a big body like that, you love seeing an athletic guy like him play well. And I saw him in practice, and he gives a lot of effort. It's good to see him too.
Yeah, getting some of those kids back that have struggled a little bit with some injuries is good. Last night too, mentioned just a couple kids. I thought offensively, Maddox Buzinski ran the ball really hard from the fullback spot. He's coming off an ankle injury, and I thought he looked about as close to 100% as he's been for a while. Getting Jaden back. Jaden ran the ball well at times and got some things done. Defensively too, we're making progress defensively. Like I said, I thought our front played a little bit better than what they'd had, and I thought we did a pretty good job with West Central's option game, just playing assignment football, especially in the second half.
Right.
We settled in and got some pretty big stops that kept us in the game. And defensively, we've been out on the field quite a bit, with the turnovers and teams having extra possessions, but our defense is settling in. Addison Allen at a safety, he's a sophomore, played well, getting involved with the run game and filled pretty hard.
So actually throwing his head in there quite a bit, and then being very physical.
Yeah, very aggressive, physical kid. So he's learning on the fly, and he's going to make some sophomore mistakes, but
you can live with that as long as it's 100 miles an hour. You can live with that.
Yep, high effort kid. So I thought he played well. I think our linebackers with Talon Garner and Tucker Fox and Mike Lambert continue to play well too. So again, we're seeing good things. We're seeing good things out of those guys.
Coach to coach, one thing I want to pick your brain about here real quick. Last night it seemed like in that second half, like every play there was a penalty both ways. So as a coach, and this being your first year as a head coach, being the guy, mentally, how do you get over that when you can't really get into a flow?
Right. It's just, you got to present a, calm front to the kids. You know how that goes. And hey, I'm never going to criticize the officials.
Never prevent a calm front.
Yeah. There were some questionable calls, but it went both ways. And just telling the kids, hey, that play's over. You can't do anything about it. You just got to move on to the next one. And we had some penalties in inopportune times that kind of hurt us, and some I'd say were a little questionable. I'll try to be politically correct and nicer on the air, but we just got to try to overcome those things, and that's just part of the game.
Well, you sorry, real quick, you talk about when it rains it pours. There was a moment last night where both Maddox Buzinski and Jaden Jones were hobbled on the play, and they both came over to the sidelines and were having both of their right ankles looked at, and I thought, my God, what kind of luck is this? This is terrible. And I thought, I sure hope at least one of them can get back out there. I was so happy to see both of them were able to come back. It's just been that type of season where you just don't know what you're going to see next.
Right, and that, next man up too. We had guys when they hobbled out. We moved guys around a little bit in the backfield and brought in a couple different guys that ran the ball, and they did fine. So just that next man up mentality, and you just got to keep plowing forward and keep working.
Well, we look at your game next week against Casson. You talked about them. We wish you luck with that. Any other thing that you saw last night that I know we've talked a lot here just about the things that you wish you'd done better, but what are the things that you're happy with where you are, even though it's not the season you'd like to have had? What are the things that you're really happy that you've accomplished as a team and look forward to? for the future.
Just really proud of the effort of our kids. Sometimes when things don't go well, it's real easy to put your head down and pout and think, poor me, things aren't going well. But we don't have kids that do that. They show up, they play hard, they give us max effort, and they're coachable kids. So, we get that out of our kids. We'll continue to get better. Like I said, the more games we play, the more experience we get, more situations they see. So, that's going to reap benefits for us as we continue, not only through the rest of this year, but as we go forward as a program in the next several years as well.
Well, as a former coach from the outside looking in, you can definitely tell the growth from week 1 to week 7. So
yeah, and that's what we're looking for. Hey, as long as we're getting better each week, obviously we can still continue to clean up some of those things that we need to with the turnovers and the penalties and missed assignments, things like that. But our kids work hard, and as long as they're getting better week to week, we're going to be in good shape here as we get close to the end of the season.
Well, as always, we appreciate your time, Coach. You've always been gracious, and good luck next week against Casson, and we hope to talk to you next Saturday about that big win.
Yeah, sounds good. Appreciate everything you guys do, too. Thank you.
Of course. All right.
Thanks, Coach.
That's head coach of the Winamac Warriors, Josh Burgess, in-house. We're going to play one more play. It was the big pass play from Cash Roth last night. Tomahawk is on the line, as Chris just said. This is a huge possession for the Warriors and this young team as Cash Roths from shotgun takes the snap. He's looking to throw immediately. He finds his man over the middle. It's Jaden Jones up the middle about the 40-yard line in West Central territory before he's tackled at about the 36. A huge play by Cash Roth and Jaden Jones.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392, the Stark County Co-op.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winamac. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is dedicated to providing excellent health care to improve the health and quality of life for the people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible health care experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
Welcome to Marian University's newest location, Ancilla College of Marian University. Marian's newest campus location in Plymouth is your home for an on-campus college experience. From living in the dorms to being a collegiate student-athlete, Marian University is ranked 3rd most innovative Midwest university by U.S. News & World Report. For more information about our 2- or 4-year degrees, go to www.marian.edu/Ancilla. That's www.marian.edu/Ancilla.
Let's continue the conversation with area high school coaches and more on the Saturday Sports Line.
Welcome back to the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios. I am Mitch Columbia along with sports analyst Chris McGowan. This is the longest running high school sports show in Indiana history. We are so glad to be here. This is the Saturday Sports Line. We are both here, with head coach of the South Central Satellites of Union Mills, head coach Buzz Schoff. Last night, a tough loss to River Forest, coach. It's just been that kind of season for you, but we hope things can get better because we're coming to South Central next week, and we'll talk about South Newton in a bit. But let's get the rundown for last night and tell us what you saw on the field.
Well, hold on. Before you get started there, okay, you've gone up to the region twice now. You don't have to make that trip anymore this year, so that is definitely a plus.
That's a positive. We made that trip 2 weeks in a row, and
exactly.
And it's not fun, and it's not easy, especially with the crossing of 2 and 6 blocked off in Westville. So you got to go the long route anyway. But yeah, last night, 63-6. Obviously, nothing really went our way last night. We were pretty much outmanned in every facet of the game. They were bigger, they were faster, they were stronger, and we couldn't get the ball in the end zone, but we did move the football, and then we'd just kind of stall out after a while. But as a coach with a struggling football team, when you're playing a team like River Forest, and they had a lot to be up for that game. That was to secure their spot as the conference champions in our division, which they have never won. So they had a lot riding on that game, and then we play for the Minnow Bucket, which is a long tradition between South Central and River Forest. So they had a lot riding on the game, and it was just another game for us, a chance to improve going into the last 2 weeks and the tournament. So if we play our best game, we probably still don't win that game. It's just one of those situations where that you're outmanned going into it, but you're not gonna not do your job because of it. So, but when you're down 44-0 at halftime and their coaches are still worried about what you're doing, that you're doing something right. When their defensive coordinator is halfway on the field yelling at his kids to get aligned right in a 44-0 football game in the first half, that the threat is there somewhere. We're just not executing fully. And I can't criticize anything about our kids' determination and drive. The 6 points we put up were with 14 seconds left in the game. We got a running clock in the second half, and we score with 14 seconds to go. That means that we didn't quit.
Right.
And and I get it. Okay. We call that garbage time. Well, River Forest has got 28 kids. They had some players on that field, and we still were able to drive the ball down the field and score at the end, and bring back a little bit of pride. And that's what I told our kids when I called the kickoff return team. I said, hey, let's get a good return here. It's nothing but pride at this point. You're going to let another team shut you out, or are you going to take some pride in what you're doing? And our kids answered the call and went down and scored. So we didn't quit. And when you got coaches from another team that's a conference rival type team coming after you after the game and telling you your kids don't know how to quit, do they? And it's like, no, we don't, and we're not going to.
That feels good.
And you see from the other side of that, there's some teams out there when you get up by 2 scores, you get up by 3 scores, that they're just going to fold and it's just going to unravel. Well, I'm just glad that I'm not part of one of those teams that, and we've had plenty of opportunity this season to allow that to happen, but our kids won't give up. They'll keep pushing, and they'll keep driving, and then at some point something's going to go our way.
How many seniors do you have on this squad?
2.5 technically.
So you're a young team.
Yes.
So this is a learning curve here. A lot of these guys on the team are going to remember these games, and they're going to grow with that into next year.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at our team, there's a lot of kids, sophomores and juniors that haven't had a whole lot of playing time. We've never been blessed with huge numbers, so our lower level doesn't get the opportunity to improve their freshman and sophomore years. So what they're getting every Friday night is only going to help them. Now, as long as we can keep them from being discouraged and getting hurt. We still need you to come back next year because we don't want to start all over.
Right.
Because we've got time and energy invested into this right now that is going to pay off next year or the year after that, because these kids are only getting better. They're still not used to the speed of a varsity football game. They're still used to the speed of a junior high football game. And this year is getting them accustomed to that angle doesn't work anymore. You've got to know how fast you are, and let me tell you, it's not very, okay? But it's still one of those things where I enjoy going out to practice. Our kids still give all the effort that I can ask for, and it's still a fun team to coach. We just don't have anything to show for it yet. And we're hoping that these next 2 weeks that we can get something turned around and we can start enjoying and start realizing why we do what we do on a daily basis.
So individually, who were you pleased with last night?
So Zach Hanchar, our quarterback, we we would run the ball, and somehow we would end up losing 2 to 3 yards every time. They're a stingy defense. They'd stack 7 in the box. They run a standard issue 5-2, nothing else, and they just man you up on the outside. We knew we were going to have to throw the ball, but you want to run the ball just because keep
them honest.
I'm an ex-offensive lineman. I take pride in moving the ball when it's on the ground. That's what I want to do. I know how defenses get when you can't stop a run. So but every time we would run the ball, it just wasn't there. There was just nothing there, and I looked at our tailback, who's Clayton Stroud, who's not really a tailback at all. He's a slot receiver, but he's got to play tailback just because our 2 tailbacks are hurt right now. So, and I look at him, I'm like, I can't keep handing you the ball, and because now I lose my top receiver. I can't keep doing that. So at one point Zach Hanchar was like what was he was 21 for 32 or something in the first half. It's like, okay. We probably shouldn't throw the ball that much, but watching the film last night, I'm like, we are looking like a football team. The offensive line is blocking that 5 front perfectly, along with our fullback. We're blocking that. We're giving some time. He's stepping up in the pocket. He's rolling out of the pocket. We're finding him. He's finding wide receivers open. We're completing passes, and then it'd be like 3rd and 2, and then we drop that one. Well, I'm still punting, even though those first 2, the first down and second down play, were fantastic and exactly what you would like to see. Like watching the film, if I didn't know the outcome of the game, I was excited. Like, wow, South Central actually looks really good offensively, but it just never ended up in the end zone. So I think his decision making has come a long way throughout the season. He really struggled just when to get rid of the ball and when to try to make a play. He's kind of now figured out when to try to make a play and when to just get rid of the ball. We don't want to take sacks because that puts us in a bad spot.
Right.
And with the new rule in high school football where you can throw the ball away as long as you're outside the free blocking zone. I didn't know that. That was a hard concept for him to grasp at originally. Right. But now he understands it. Like, just throw that ball to your mom and second down.
Well, I actually didn't. When did this rule change happen?
So that was either this year or last year. I think it was last year that it came into play. So the free blocking zone, in high school football, they don't have the tackle box, but it's essentially the same idea.
Right.
The free blocking zone, which extends 4 yards from the ball itself. If the quarterback is outside that area, he can throw the ball anywhere so you can throw it out of bounds, but it has to get past the line of scrimmage is the only stipulation.
I see.
So
before you weren't able
to do that at all. That's an intentional grounding if you do that at all. But it's a good rule, and it's a safety rule because now now your quarterback can get flushed out of the pocket and he can just throw the ball away, as opposed to taking that hit from somebody scraping. So it's a good rule, but it's a rule that you have to teach kids as a rule,
right?
Because they've been taught their whole life that that's not a rule, because it hasn't been. But we're getting there, and we're seeing improvement from our kids. It's just not. It just doesn't show up on paper. When we started this thing, we knew we were going to be inexperienced. We knew we were going to be young, and that shows. But what we don't see is at least on the scoreboard, the improvement that's making, and it is 100%, 10 times better than it was week 1. I guarantee that. It's just not showing up on the scoreboard.
What do you know about South Newton? So
South Newton's going to be tough. I mean, the only common opponent we have with them is Lake Station. They ended up beating Lake Station 54-30, I think, and Lake Station beat us 30-20 last week. So. But other than that, they play in that Midwest Conference, which is traditionally not very strong. They played North White last night and ended up losing 38-21 or something like that. So if the betting lines were for high school football, we'd definitely be underdogs in this game. But I think we match up well, at least personnel wise. Watching a little bit of their film. because I've kind of watched them against Lake Station since they played them, just because Lake Station's in our conference, so I get that film. But so I've been watching them, and I think personnel-wise, I think we match up better than we do with some other teams. And, we're still talking about 16, 17, and 18-year-old kids. So, that size factor really plays into how competitive you can be. And they're not overly big, they're not overly tall, just like us. They got a bunch of average kids running around playing football. So I think we match up well. We just have to continue to improve. We have to make tackles when we can, and we have to score when we have the opportunity.
Yeah, the other thing you have in your favor too is you don't have to make that long drive to South Newton. They got to come.
Absolutely,
they got to come to Union Mills. So, a little bit of bus lag there, maybe.
Oh yeah, when Mr. Haggard told me, "Hey, South Newton's looking for a game," I had one stipulation, and it's a 1-year contract. This is the only time we'll play them in the regular season, probably. I said, I am not going to South Newton. But, we'll probably draw them in the sectional.
Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Karma.
Well, Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We're looking forward to this coming Friday because that'll be our first chance to be over there at Union Mills and see the satellites. And I got a chance to go there this past summer and got shown the booth, so I know where we're going to set up. I know where all of our internet works, so we're really excited to come and broadcast your game for our game of the week this coming Friday, October 7th against South Newton. Our pregame will begin at 6:30 p.m. Central, so we look forward to it, and we appreciate you coming in today, Coach.
Oh, not a problem. I appreciate you too.
All right, that's head coach of the South Central Satellites, Buzz Schoff, as we look forward to our game of the week as we will see South Central take on South Newton this coming Friday. We're going to take a break and come back. The Where Are They Now segment with Harold Welter is next. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
All the conflicts in the past, but now your kiss has lost its glow. And so
Cook knows there's nothing better than the beat of the summer. The beat begins in a simple and mellow place, from low-key to hyped up. So we're helping you and your friends drink it all in with 100 days of the artist's experiences, tracks, and concerts with the best names in music, all at Coke Studio. Drink, scan, and enjoy your Coke so you never miss out on all the amazing offers we're dropping this summer.
It's time now for Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of WKVI radio covering local high school sports. Today's program is brought to you by Osborne's Mini Marts in Knox and Culver. Now let's meet one of the local high school sports figures from more than 50 years of WKVI sports and find out where are they now.
As we look back at more than 50 years of broadcasting high school sports here in the Kankakee Valley, our guest is Damon Grube, a 1983 graduate of North Judson-San Pierre High School, and we call this segment, Where Are They Now? So, Damon, where are you now, and what are you doing?
Should I interrupt on that? Because I'm an 82 graduate.
82, okay. So you had a pretty good athletic record there at North Judson-San Pierre High School, and one of the reasons I wanted to talk with you is because you have a very interesting record story to tell about your family. Before we do that, though, tell us a little bit about where you are and what you're doing.
Well, I'm in Westfield, Indiana, just north of Indy, and I work as a database administrator for a company doing processing healthcare claims. So we've got three boys, and they're all grown and on their own now. And incidentally, I think in May coming up might be my last half marathon at the Indy Mini 500, and then one of my son's first half marathon. So that would be a neat transition there.
Wow. So you've stayed active in running, huh?
If you can call it that. It's pretty slow. It's not like the old days. But it's certainly a good thing to keep doing, that's for sure.
Well, before we talk about your family records, let's go back and think about your high school career. And you had a lot of track and cross-country meets, basketball games, a lot of things you were involved in. Of all of the games or meets or events that you took part in back in those days, which is the one all these years later that stands out more than any other to you?
You know, my gosh, it really does go to track. And I think because it's the one that, you know, I broke my father's record, that's got to be number one. But the 4x4 relays, the 4x400 relays, just the camaraderie of a relay team was just hard to beat. And the race that we had gotten a record for that event almost stands out more when it comes to you know, the excitement of the team, and the guys that were involved in that. But you can't top, you know, finding out as a young boy that your dad still holds the record, and then setting it in your heart that there's no way you're going to graduate without taking that record. So that definitely stands out.
And you got your dad's record on your last meet? Did I understand that right?
Yeah, it really, I think in my junior year, I hit a wall and I just wasn't getting my time down. And then my senior year, I was able to start knocking that down again. And it really came down to the last three meets. I had to improve my time about a half a second a race till I finally got it. The second one, you know, he had run the 440. And of course, this was, you know, in the 400 meters, and there was a conversion time, so it was kind of a toss-up. It was so close who really had the record. So it took the final race to really get almost a good second ahead of him to know that I had the record. But no, he never did accept that. You know, he ran on cinders. I ran on these fast all-weather tracks and stuff. So it had been a point of contention for many years of who really had the record.
Well, you held that record for 40 years until the spring of 2022.
Yeah.
And that was broken in the spring of 2022, and you had an opportunity to talk with the young man who broke it, I guess, huh?
Yeah, and that's, you know, one of the great things about social media, you know, nowadays is over the past several years, as different runners were getting close, I have a cousin in town who would let me know when somebody was getting close to it. And she's just into the high school sports and the competition, so it was neat that she was watching that for me. And so when it did come down to last spring, when Eric Materna had broken the record, with her letting me know right away, I was able to congratulate him over social media. I mean, I think within an hour or so of him getting it, while you're all excited about it, to be congratulated by the previous record holder, I'm sure meant a lot to him, and it was really neat to be a part of that in that way.
That really is neat. And, of course, the fact that between you and your dad, you held that record for, 65 years?
65 years, yeah, together. That's right.
And now your sister still has a record that stands, huh?
Yeah, so I was concerned when I had the record when my brother was going to be coming up through high school that he might have the same idea. So I pointed him towards another record that I had kind of wanted to try to get, but didn't have the opportunity. And so I diverted his attention over to the 800, and he did compete in that event and did get that record. So I felt that was a success. I maintained my record, and he got his. And so there was a while there that all three of us, my parents' children, were all on the record board at the same time. So at that point, all three of us had records. So and as the years passed, and we passed Dad over the 25 years, really, I'd forgotten if I was even still up there. So a number of years ago, I checked to find out if we were still up there, and we were. So then it was kind of watching it, and of course now that Eric has beaten my record, my record, the legacy for that ends at 40 years. My sister still has her record, so she's going 42 years strong. So when it comes to the family competition, I guess you can call it, of who has the record the longest, she's the winner of that competition. The competition that took 40 years to find out who would win.
And so I guess we could say that the Grube family was full of competitors, huh?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, just when you look at high school sports and the competition and just both the camaraderie and the rivalries and stuff, it was a lot of fun. And to bring that into the family and have some fun jabbing within the family. Even my boys got into that, where they found my high school record plaque and would bring it up when they were young and show Grandpa, and my dad would just go in a tirade about what a disrespectful, ungrateful son I was to take something like that from him. So, and that hopefully they would never be like that. So I guess that's why my boys didn't grow up in North Judson, so that way they.
Well, you've kind of addressed another question I wanted to ask you, and that is participating in high school sports. How is that? Participating in high school sports all those years ago, how did that benefit you and help you be successful in life?
I look back at that, and I remember that drive of having set a goal, and a goal that was not going to be easily attained and would take years to accomplish, and to set your focus and to be driving after that year after year to truly be the best, to do the best you can do, and achieve, and in the end achieve your goal you wanted. And as I got into college, my focus did go away from track. I ran 1 year, my freshman year in college. That's all I ran. But my interest moved. And it moved I went into computer science and into programming. And that similar desire I had to, in a sense, be the best, I always wanted to program and be known for being able to do really good at what I did in programming. And that has, I think that has gone with me in the different areas I've worked at, and always wanting to have that drive to not just participate, but to truly succeed.
We're talking with Damon Grube, a 1982 graduate of North Judson-San Pierre High School, here in our Where Are They Now segment, and we'll be back to continue our conversation after this.
Need a game plan that has your day covered from tip-off to the buzzer? Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox has you covered. Whether you like to start out with a caffeinated full-court press or control the tempo with a Subway breakfast flatbread, Osborne's Mini Mart has what you need. Don't get trapped in the corner with an empty stomach. Call a quick timeout and get 2 hot dogs for $1.29. Visit Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox at the corner of US 35 and Highway 8 East to guarantee you win the day.
Our guest is Damon Grube, a 1982 graduate of North Judson-San Pierre High School, and we talked about the importance of high school sports and helping you be successful in life, Damon. Let me ask you this. What advice would you give to young athletes today who want to have the kind of success that you had?
I think it's really just not being afraid to set a goal that you really don't know that you can attain. I mean, you have to have a way of pushing yourself, and so you set your goals out far enough and difficult enough that maybe initially you don't know that you're going to be able to do it, but as you put yourself into and drive to it, sometimes you surprise yourself.
One other question I wanted to ask, and that is, growing up in North Judson, who are some of the people that were like your role models or people who helped you be successful?
I think the person I generally go back to when I think about who my influencers were was a science teacher we had, Wes Chinworth.
Oh.
And he was just one of those people that just the kids gravitated to, and he was active in his faith, and that's been an important part of our life too. And he was able to show us, or show me, being successful, being good at what you're doing, and also being committed to your faith.
Well, Damon, we want to thank you for taking time and visiting with us and sharing with us the story of the Grube's records. That is one of the classic stories I ever ran into in 57 years of covering high school sports. So thank you for taking time and visiting with us and sharing your thoughts with us here today.
Sure, Harold. Thanks. It was a pleasure and enjoyed. It's a fun story to tell.
It certainly is. Our guest has been Damon Grube, a 1982 graduate of North Judson-San High School. Join us again next week on the Saturday Sports Line for Where Are They Now?
Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half-century of high school sports coverage on WKVI has been brought to you by Osborne's Mini Marts in Knox and Culver.
You're listening to Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Time now for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, given in memory of Tyler Roth, a 2001 graduate of Winamac High School who died in an auto accident 1 week after his high school graduation. His legacy of hard work, outstanding citizenship, artistic success, and super athletic performance lives on with this award given every week to outstanding student athletes from the 8 schools in the Kankakee Valley. Today's award is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac, and we'll tell you who's earned the Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week after this word from Web Printing.
Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack and signs of all kinds in Winamac is where all of your printing needs can be met. Whether it's paper, garments, or signs, Web Printing is your full-service printing solution. So if you're in need of embroidered or screen-printed garments, tickets or programs for your event, or documents for your business, Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack is the place to go. For the quickest service, best prices, and best quality, it's Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac.
Our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week for this week is the Knox Redskins girls golf team. The Redskins have had an amazing season, winning their sectional for the first time in Knox high school history. Erin Messer, daughter of Sean and Amy Messer, Joey Montag, daughter of Ryan Montag and Trisha Lovely, Bethany Barnes, daughter of Glenn and Laura Barnes, and Jalen Goins and Jordan Goins, both are daughters of Jason and Stephanie Goins. They are our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week. The whole team will receive a certificate, a history of the award, and a t-shirt commemorating their achievement, and will also be a future guest on the Saturday Sports Line. They will also be eligible for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Year award later this spring, which carries with it a beautiful plaque and a college scholarship compliments of WKVI and the family of Tyler Roth. The Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack of Winamac. As that is going to close week 7 of our week 7 already. Can you believe that?
Goes fast, doesn't it?
My goodness.
Time flies when you're having fun.
My goodness, yes. Saturday Sports Line. I'm Mitch Columbi along with Chris McGowan, and we will be in South Central for our first time this year. I'm very excited to head up to Union Mills and catch a game. Should be a good one against South Newton. Pre-game will start at 6:30. We hope you join us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be up there after I get done with my bus route on Friday night. So looking forward to broadcasting a game there from Union Mills.
All right. Well, we invite you to follow us on social media, on Instagram at WKVI Sports, on Twitter at KVB Sports, also on Facebook, you know that one, Sports to the Max, for all Kankakee Valley Broadcasting sports content. For our sports analyst, Chris McGowan, I'm Mitch Columbi. We're so glad you joined us here on the Saturday Sports Line. Another one down. More to come as we have all the sports in this area you can imagine. We're doing our best. We hope you have a good week, and until next Friday, take care.
But now your kiss has lost its glow, and so we find ourselves holding on to precious memories the way we used to be.
From from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI, you've been listening to the Saturday Sports Line with Sports Director Mitch Columbi and Sports Analyst Chris McGowan.